Today I'm revealing everything I'm planning to sew for my spring wardrobe. I've got 5 projects planned and I'm going to walk you through all of them. You'll not only see what I'm sewing, you'll get tons of ideas for your own spring projects, including fabrics, patterns, and prints you might not have considered before. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Sarai and I've been sewing for almost 30 years and teaching you how to create a meaningful custom wardrobe for the last 15. So let's take a look at what I've got planned. Here's my mood board for the season. Let me walk you through it. The look I'm going for this season is soft, romantic, and just a little bit vintage inspired. I'm calling this collection Delicate Blooms. And the reason I chose that name, well, first of all, this spring I have something really special I'm planning for. My mom and I are taking a mother-daughter trip to Paris, which is something I've always wanted to do with her. We've talked about it for years. You know, one of those someday trips that you always dream about but never quite make happen. And this year, we're finally doing it. I know we're gonna create a lot of special memories on this trip, so the clothes I'm sewing already feel really meaningful to me. There's something about making garments for a specific occasion that just makes the whole process feel more intentional, you know? When I thought about Paris in the springtime, 2 things came to mind. First, I thought of flowers, because of course it's spring. It brought to mind soft pastel petals, roses, peonies, the kind of flowers you see spilling out of those beautiful Parisian flower shops. In my own garden here at home, I always plant a lot of flowers in shades of cream, peach, and blush pink, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them come up this spring when we get back from the trip. Then I thought about the antique markets of Paris and all the beautiful old textiles and lace you find there. I've always been drawn to vintage markets whenever I travel, and Paris has some incredible ones. I'm already planning to spend at least one morning just wandering through the stalls looking at old linens and trims. I have a penchant for vintage lingerie and lingerie-inspired details. I think there's something so beautiful about the craftsmanship in those old pieces. The delicate lace, the bias cuts, the way they used to finish seams. So I wanted to incorporate some of that into my spring sewing. The word delicate in my collection name evokes both the delicacy of the fabric and the idea of delicates or lingerie. It just felt right for what I'm trying to create. For the color palette, I came across this photo online from a shop in Copenhagen, and it really spoke to me immediately. You know how sometimes you see an image and it just sticks in your brain? That was this photo for me. I love the simple palette of ivory with touches of black detail, polka dots, soft blush pink, and that unexpected hint of citron yellow. That citron was actually something I hadn't really planned for at all. But as I looked at my inspiration and started pulling images together, I kept noticing it showing up. It also made me think of the combination of pink and light green you see in spring flowers. That's one of the things I love about the mood board process. Sometimes you discover things about your own taste that surprise you. This yellow-green color is beautiful and unexpected. I'm trying to add more of it into my wardrobe because I think it's really flattering and fresh. For my palette, I went with ivory and black for my neutrals, but I plan to lean more into the ivory and use the black just for accents. I've been really into earthy chocolate browns over the last year. I feel like I wore a lot of that this past fall and winter, but now I want to go in a more ethereal direction and keep everything really light. It feels right for spring, and honestly, it feels right for Paris too. For the basics, I'm adding in some classic navy to ground the palette a bit. I know that I wear a lot of denim in spring, probably more than any other season. I think the navy will add some versatility here since I like denim with these soft ice cream colors. There's something about crisp, dark denim with a delicate blouse that I just find so appealing. I also have shades of pink and apricot here, inspired by the colors of vintage silk slips. If you've ever seen those beautiful old 1930s and 40s slips in antique stores, you know the colors I'm talking about. Those warm, peachy pinks that have a slightly faded, romantic quality to them. I personally prefer warm, coral-toned pinks with my hair and skin tone rather than cooler pinks, so that's what I chose here. It's worth thinking about what undertones work best for you when you're choosing colors for your own palette. For the statement color, I went with that citron again. I don't know if I'll sew anything new in this color this season, but I definitely plan to wear the merino wool fig cardigan I sewed in fall, so I wanted to represent it in my palette. It's become one of my favorite pieces actually, and I think it'll look beautiful with all these soft pinks and ivories. If you want to plan out your own spring sewing projects, be sure to download our free wardrobe planning kit. It includes all the handy printable worksheets you need to create a wardrobe that's both beautiful and practical, no matter what your next season of life looks like. Whether you're planning for a special trip like I am, or just want to refresh your everyday wardrobe, it really helps to have a process to follow. I'll put a link to that in the description below. All right, let's get into the actual projects. I have 5 planned for this season, and I'm going to go through each one in detail. My first project is a bias cut dress with a high neck, a keyhole tie at the neckline, and a tie at the back waist. Bias cut dresses are one of my absolute favorite things to wear, and they have been since I first started collecting vintage clothing way back in the 90s. I remember discovering 1930s fashion and just being completely enchanted by those fluid, elegant silhouettes. There's really nothing quite like a bias cut dress. They flow over curves so beautifully, yet they're surprisingly comfortable to wear. That's why so many vintage nightgowns and slips used to be cut on the bias. The stretch from the bias grain makes them both slinky and easy to move around in. You get that beautiful drape without feeling constricted at all. This cut also reminds me a lot of the dresses I loved in the 90s, especially with that high neckline. There's a bit of a 90s minimalism revival happening now, but for me, the 90s just never went out of fashion. I just love it. Those sleek lines, the simplicity, the floral prints, it really appeals to me. I think this pattern would look amazing in either a silk or a rayon challis, either in a favorite solid color or a floral print. A really big, bold floral print would look particularly stunning because the bias cut lets the print move and flow in such a beautiful way. You could also do something really simple and elegant in a solid black or navy. For mine, I decided to go with dots, which felt very classic to me. I found this viscose crepe at Yard Blocks and I ordered it immediately when I saw it. I didn't even hesitate. It's dead stock fabric from Reformation, and I do tend to really like their prints. They have a good eye for scale and color. The ivory color with black dots is really in line with my inspiration. That image of ivory and pink with hints of graphic black. I love how dots feel both classic and a little bit playful at the same time. And I love to wear black and white when I travel because it's so easy to mix and match. For how I'll wear it, since this dress is sleeveless, I think it would be lovely layered with a simple cardigan, maybe in a bold color like that citron I mentioned. For that, I might pack my merino wool fig cardigan in lemongrass. The contrast of the graphic black and white dots with a pop of color sounds really appealing to me. I'd wear it with either comfy ballet flats or sandals and maybe a straw bag or a leather tote. Something simple that lets the dress be the star. Now for the trip to Paris, I'll probably get some walking shoes that still work with dresses. We're planning to do a lot of walking because you kind of have to in Paris since it's the best way to see the city. So comfort is really important. Birkenstock actually makes some Mary Janes now that might be comfortable enough to walk in, and they come in metallic silver. I'm kind of tempted by those, honestly. Metallics are fancy, but they match with everything too. My next project is another Seamwork Orla, which is a princess seamed A-line mini skirt. I made Orla this winter in a wool knit with a silk lining, and I absolutely love it. I wear it all the time, probably more than almost anything else I made this past season. Short A-line skirts are just a closet staple for me. They work with so many different tops, they're comfortable, and I think they're really nice on me. So I wanted a spring version in denim, but with a few special details added to make it feel really unique. I'm going with a deep indigo denim because I tend to wear dark denim the most. To me, it's a little bit dressier than lighter washes, and I love the way it looks with so many other colors. Dark denim with soft pastels is one of my favorite combinations. There's something about that contrast that just works. By the way, I think the skirt would also look incredible in a colored denim or a white denim. I briefly thought about doing a white or a natural denim, which would be so fresh for summer, but I already have a white A-line mini skirt I made a while back, so I went with classic indigo instead. If you don't have a white denim skirt though, that could be a really fun option to consider. I'm planning to omit the lining for this one since denim doesn't really need it. Fabric has enough body on its own, and honestly, it'll make the skirt cooler to wear in warmer weather. But I do want to add some interesting details to make it special. Instead of side pockets with buttons, I'm thinking about adding some patch pockets to the front for a 70s sort of look. I've been really drawn to that aesthetic lately. There's just something really charming about patch pockets on denim. I'm also going to add some contrasting top stitching, maybe in white or a natural color. That classic jean style top stitching just adds so much character to denim garments. And I'd like to do Hong Kong seams for the interior finishes, which will give it some hidden pizzazz. Nobody will see it but me, but I'll know it's there, and there's something really satisfying about that. It's like a little secret hidden detail that makes the garment feel more special. For wearing it, this skirt will look beautiful with a simple cardigan and flats, but I think it'll also look wonderful with the lacy white bloom blouse I made in fall. I just love denim with a delicate top, that combination of something sturdy and something ethereal. It's very French actually, which fits perfectly with my plans. I could also wear it with a t-shirt like my long sleeve Alice tees, or a lightweight linen t-shirt for a more casual day. This is a year-round staple that I'm sure I'll get a lot of use out of, and it's perfect for traveling since denim goes with just about anything. You can dress it up or dress it down, and it doesn't wrinkle much, which is a huge plus when you're living out of a suitcase. My next project is the Seamwork Posy dress, which is a brand new pattern this month. This is a classic Surplice dress that I've been looking forward to sewing since we started working on the design about a year ago. I'm so excited to finally be able to make this one. Sometimes when we're developing a pattern, I'll fall in love with it during the process and just count down the days until I can make my own version. This pattern has a Surplice top, and here's why it's genius. You get that same flattering crossover wrap look, but it's actually sewn closed so no wardrobe malfunctions. If you've ever worn a true wrap dress, you know the struggle. Constantly checking to make sure everything stays in place, especially on windy days. With a Surplice, you get all the beauty of a wrap with none of the anxiety. Wrap styles seem to work really well on my body, like they do on so many other people. And I just feel really good when I wear them. The crossover creates a natural waist definition that's really nice on me. This pattern works well in lightweight cottons if you want something with a bit of body. Maybe a cotton lawn or a voile would be lovely. But it also looks incredible in fabrics like rayon challis that have more drape, which gives you a completely different look. That's one thing I love about this pattern. It's really versatile depending on your fabric choice. If you wanted to splurge, I think this would be absolutely beautiful in a Liberty Tonalon. Those prints are just exquisite, and they would work so well with this silhouette. I might have to try that later this year, honestly. It's really hard to resist Liberty fabric. I found this rayon jacquard fabric in a warm pink color at a local fabric store here in Portland, Mill End. I always love finding special fabrics locally. It's nice to be able to touch and feel them before you buy, especially with something like a jacquard where the texture is so important. The fabric has large scattered tonal blossoms, which obviously just scream spring. They're not too busy. It's a subtle, sophisticated floral rather than something really bold. The jacquard weave adds dimension to the print in a really lovely way. The fabric is a little heavier than many rayons because of the jacquard weave, so it has a good balance of drape and body. It moves beautifully, but still has enough structure to hold the shape of the dress. One thing I really like about it is that it doesn't need to be lined like a lot of lighter color fabrics might. That's always a consideration with pinks and whites. You don't want to have to worry about sheerness. But this fabric has enough substance that it's opaque on its own. I'm thinking about adding some fun stitch details to the neckline, like perhaps machine stitch scallops. I was really inspired by some of the vintage lingerie pieces I looked at for the season's inspiration. So many of them have these beautiful scalloped edges that are surprisingly easy to recreate on a regular sewing machine. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see how to do that. If there's interest, I could do a tutorial on it. For wearing it, once again, this is a dress that'll work well with cardigans for cooler spring days or on its own as the weather warms up. I'm looking forward to just throwing this on, maybe with some sandals or espadrilles. It's the kind of dress that looks pulled together without requiring much effort, which is exactly what I want for travel. I also found this beautiful rayon gauze, and I'm thinking about making a second version if I have time. I like the ditzy floral print, and it's really breezy and soft. Speaking of planning all these projects, I mentioned it earlier, but if you're feeling inspired to map out your own spring sewing, our free wardrobe planning kit is really helpful for this. It's the same process I use every season to figure out what I actually want to make and wear, and it helps me make sure everything works together as a cohesive wardrobe rather than just random collection of garments. I find that when I take the time to plan things out like this, I end up with pieces I actually reach for instead of things that just hang in my closet unworn. The link is in the description below if you want to grab it. My next project is an ivory thistle cardigan, which is a classic, slightly boxy cardigan with a collar. I've talked a lot in this video about pairing these dresses and skirts with cardigans, and thistle is the one I plan to add to my wardrobe this season. It just felt essential to have a beautiful layering piece that would tie everything together. This is another new pattern, and I have so many ideas on how to customize it. We actually did a recent video on cardigan details, different ways you can personalize a basic cardigan pattern, and it really got my creative wheels turning. The idea I'm most excited about is adding some beaded embroidery to the collar. I have this wonderful Japanese book on beaded embroidery that I've been dying to try out for ages. Japanese craft books are so beautiful. Even if you can't read the text, the photographs are so detailed that you can usually follow along. I think the collar would look amazing with some creamy white or pearl beading, something subtle and elegant that catches the light. It's that vintage influence again. Those old garments often had beautiful beaded details that were just so special. It's a bit ambitious, I know. I've never done beaded embroidery before, so this will be a learning experience. But that's part of what makes sewing exciting to me, always having something new to try. The fabric is a cream merino wool interlock knit from the Fabric Merchant in the UK. I've ordered from them before, and the quality is always excellent. I love merino because it's insulating, breathable, and comfortable to wear. It regulates temperature really well, which is perfect for spring when the weather can be really unpredictable. You might start the day needing a layer and want to take it off by afternoon. Plus, merino doesn't smell if you sweat, so you can wear it multiple times between washes. Maybe that's a strange thing to mention, but it means you can pack less. And that's definitely on my mind as I plan for my Paris trip. This particular fabric has a soft hand, and it's quite stretchy too. The interlock knit gives it just a bit of heft, which I think will be nice with a cardigan. You want something with enough body that it doesn't look limp or stretched out. I plan to layer this cardigan over dresses, wear it with skirts, or just wear it with jeans on more casual days. Cardigans are another staple for me. I honestly can't imagine my wardrobe without them. I know I'll get tons of wear out of this one until the weather gets too warm for layers. My last project is a vintage-inspired bed jacket, which is another upcoming Seamwork pattern, so you guys are getting a sneak peek here. I've always loved vintage bed jackets. If you're not familiar with them, these were short, often lacy little jackets that women used to wear over their nightgowns or while lounging. They're so romantic and pretty. I've collected them throughout the years whenever I find them in antique stores. I'm really excited to make one for myself because I find that it's always useful to have something lightweight to cover the neck and shoulders as it starts to warm up. You know those days in the spring when it's warm but there's still a bit of chill in the air? A bed jacket is perfect for that. It's a gorgeous layering piece, and I love that you can really play with lace trim. That's where the vintage lingerie inspiration really comes through, all those beautiful laces and ribbons. For this, I found another rayon jacquard at Yard Blocks, which is more of a peach or apricot color. It's in that vintage slip color palette I talked about earlier, which feels perfect for a lingerie-inspired piece like this. I'll trim it with a vintage lace of some kind, either in an ecru or a mocha sort of color. I have a little collection of vintage laces and trims that I've accumulated through the years, so I'll dig through those and find something that feels right. Part of the fun will be picking out the perfect lace. Another fabric option I'm thinking about is this rayon satin that I found in my stash. It's in this beautiful raspberry pink color that I just love, and I think this would look great with a white lace. I'm really excited to make this, and I can see it working in all kinds of fabrics. It would look so beautiful on a print too. Maybe a soft floral, even a ditzy print. If you wanted something a bit more casual, you could do it in a cotton lawn without the lace trim, and it would have a completely different feel. For wearing it, this will be wonderful layered over a sleeveless dress, especially a slip dress. I think it would be beautiful over my polka dot bias dress, actually. I also think it would look great with simple jeans or my denim orla skirt. It's unexpected to pair something so delicate with denim, but I love that contrast. I'd love to wear it alone as a top too, so I'd probably layer a simple cami underneath for that. It could almost be like a fancy cardigan alternative. This feels like the piece that really captures the spirit of this collection. Soft, romantic, a little bit vintage, and just special. I can't wait to wear it on our trip. Of course, having a plan is one thing, but actually making everything and seeing how it all comes together is another story entirely. Plans change, life gets busy, and sometimes projects don't turn out how you expected. If you want to see how my winter sewing plans compared to what I actually ended up making, plus the lessons that'll help you actually make what you plan, watch this video next.